Have you ever received a compliment that made you pause and think, wait, was that a compliment or a slap in disguise? Marcus Aurelius once said, "It's not what others say, but how you respond that defines your power." In today's world, not every kind word is kind. Some compliments are wrapped in manipulation, subtle disrespect, or passive aggression. And if you don't spot them, they will eat away at your confidence, your clarity, and your peace of mind. So let's dive into 7 compliments that are secretly insults, explained through the lens of Stoic wisdom and modern human behavior. Welcome to Wisdom of Stoicism, where ancient wisdom meets modern chaos. Today, we uncover a hidden truth. Not all praise is pure. Stoicism teaches us to look beyond appearances and judge things by their true nature. Each of these compliments may sound nice, but they carry poison. And if you're not aware, you'll fall into traps that hurt your confidence and self-worth. So sharpen your mind like a Stoic, and let's reveal the 7 veiled insults you must learn to recognize and rise above. Number 1. You're so different. Have you ever been told, "You're so different"? Now at first, it might sound like a compliment. Maybe someone says it with a smile or in a tone that seems positive. And your first instinct might be to feel proud. Proud that you stand out, proud that you're not like everyone else. But let's take a moment and really think about what's being said here. You're so different. Different from what? Different from who? And why are they pointing it out? Sometimes when people say this, they don't mean it as praise. They're not admiring your individuality. They're calling you strange, but dressing it up with polite words. It's not always about admiration. Sometimes it's a quiet way of saying, "You don't fit in. You make me uncomfortable. You're not following the crowd like the rest of us." It's a disguised insult. And if you're not paying attention, you might thank them for it. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic Emperor of Rome, would tell us not to take this kind of comment too seriously. In his famous journal, Meditations, he reminds us that we can't control what others say, but we can always control how we respond. He wrote, "The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them know anything about the subject." Think about that. You might be walking your own path. Maybe you dress differently, speak differently, or think deeper than others. And that makes some people nervous. Because when you don't follow the script that society expects, you remind others of what they gave up. You remind them of the courage they didn't use. You reflect back to them something they've buried, the part of themselves that once wanted to stand out, be bold, be free, but didn't. So what do? They label you different. Not brave, not thoughtful, not original, just different. That's their way of putting you in a box, of making themselves feel more comfortable. But here's the truth: if you're walking a path of self-awareness, discipline, and truth, you will be called different. If you value peace over popularity, you will be called different. If you speak less, listen more, and don't chase trends, someone is going to look at you funny and say, "You're not like the rest of us." And that's not a weakness. That's your strength. Marcus didn't try to blend in. He didn't seek the approval of the crowd. He spent time alone in stillness asking hard questions. He trained his mind to be calm when others were loud and humble when others were boastful. That made him different and powerful. So the next time someone says to you, "You're so different," don't rush to feel flattered. Pause. Ask yourself, are they celebrating your uniqueness or quietly criticizing what they don't understand? A true Stoic doesn't need approval. You don't need to fit in to belong. You belong to yourself, and that's enough. Stay different. Stay strong. Stay grounded. Number 2. You're so smart for someone like you. Let's break down one of the most insulting compliments you'll ever hear. It's subtle, it's sneaky, and many people don't even realize what's wrong with it. The phrase, "You're so smart for someone like you," sounds like praise, right? But pause for a moment. Let that sink in. You're smart. That feels good. But the second half, "for someone like you," that's the real message. That's where the insult is hiding. Now ask yourself, what do they mean by someone like you? Maybe you didn't go to college. Maybe you work a blue-collar job. Maybe you speak with an accent. Maybe you come from a rough neighborhood. Maybe you look different, dress differently, live differently. So what they're really saying is, I didn't expect someone like you to be intelligent. And I'm surprised. That's not a compliment. That's an insult wearing a fake smile. They've already put you in a box. And now they're shocked you don't belong there. They've made assumptions about your worth, your brain, your value. And here's the kicker. Most people who say this kind of thing don't even realize they're being disrespectful. But make no mistake, they are. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And if you constantly absorb backhanded praise like this, it starts to affect your self-image. You start questioning yourself. You start thinking maybe they're right. Maybe you're just smart for someone like you. Not smart, period. Don't fall for that. You are not your background. You are not your job title. You are not the zip code you came from. You are what you choose to become. And intelligence, that's not just degrees and diplomas. It's clarity. It's wisdom. It's self-control. And that kind of intelligence, the Stoic kind, can't be measured by anyone else's scale. So when someone gives you this compliment, don't get angry. Don't react. That's what they want. They want you to feel small, to defend yourself, to explain yourself. But a true Stoic doesn't explain. A true Stoic just smiles and moves forward. Because guess what? The smartest people don't need to prove anything. They let their actions speak. Their calm presence speaks. Their mindset speaks louder than any words ever could. So if someone says, "You're smart for someone like you," just nod, say thank you, and walk away knowing exactly who you are. You're not smart for someone like you. You're smart because you've earned it, because you've worked for it, because you've grown through life, not just studied it. And that is something most people will never understand. Number 3, you're too good for this job, person, life. Sometimes people tell you things that sound like encouragement, but they're not. One of the most common is this one: you're too good for this job, or you're too good for that person, or even, you're too good for this kind of life. First, it feels nice. You might even smile and say, thank you. But if you look closer, this kind of compliment can carry a hidden insult. You see, when someone says you're too good for something, they're not always lifting you up. They might be quietly looking down on your choices. They may be judging where you work, who you're with, or the lifestyle you've chosen. It's a compliment that puts down everything around you, including the people and places you value. And that's not really praise. That's pressure. Let's say you work a regular job, maybe in retail, food service, or a small business. Someone says, "You're too smart to be working here." It sounds flattering, but what they're really saying is, this job isn't worthy of someone like you. But who decides what's worthy? If you're doing honest work, paying your bills, and living with dignity, then that job is good enough. In fact, it's honorable. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman Emperor and Stoic philosopher, believed that every role in life has its purpose. He said, "Do every act of your life as though it were the very last act of your life." That includes your work, your relationships, your daily choices. The Stoic path is not about chasing prestige. It's about doing what is right with excellence and humility. Now let's apply this to relationships. Maybe someone says, "You're too good for your partner." That seems like support, but it can be poison in disguise. Instead of appreciating your loyalty or your love, they're telling you that your choice is beneath you. But you know what they don't see? They don't see your partner's kindness, patience, the quiet way they show up for you when no one else does. To judge a relationship from the outside is easy. To live one from the inside, that's where the truth is. And sometimes, people say you're too good for your entire lifestyle. They see you living simply, without showing off, without chasing trends, and they think that's a waste. But Marcus Aurelius said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself." You don't need a big title, fancy clothes, or an expensive car to live well. You just need peace in your mind and purpose in your actions. So the next time someone says, "You're too good for this," pause. Don't get carried away by the surface of the words. Look deeper. Ask yourself, are they building me up? Or are they quietly tearing something down? As a Stoic, your job is not to chase better labels. It's to live better each day. You don't need others to approve of your path. You just need to walk it with strength, humility, and truth. Because you're not too good for your life, you're the one shaping it. And that's good enough. Number 4. You're so calm. It's creepy. You're sitting quietly in a room. Something dramatic just happened. Someone's yelling, someone's panicking, and you're just sitting there, still, composed, and peaceful. And then someone turns to you and says, "You're so calm." It's creepy. First, you might laugh it off. It sounds like they're just surprised, or maybe even admiring your cool-headedness. But if you look closely, that sentence is not really a compliment. It's more of a warning, a subtle insult dressed up as surprise. They're saying, "You're not reacting the way most people do, and that makes me uncomfortable." But here's the truth. Your calmness, your emotional control is not the problem. Their discomfort with your self-control is their issue, not yours. In a world that celebrates drama, loud reactions, and emotional outbursts, staying calm almost feels rebellious. And that's why it threatens people. When you stay composed in chaos, you're not giving them what they expect. You're not joining the noise. You're not feeding the fire. And that makes people nervous because deep down, they know they don't have that same control over their own emotions. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman Emperor and Stoic philosopher, believed that true strength lies in ruling over your own mind. He once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the Stoic way. It's not about being cold or distant. It's about being grounded, no matter what storm is around you. So when someone tells you, "You're so calm," it's creepy. What they really mean is, "I don't know how you're not reacting the way I would." But that's the point. You're not here to react like everyone else. You're here to respond with reason, not emotion. You're here to master your mind, not let it be pulled around by chaos. Let's think about it in everyday situations. Maybe someone cuts you off in traffic and you just let it go. Your friend says, "Wow, I would have screamed at them." You're so calm. It's kind of creepy. Or maybe at work, everyone's stressed before a big meeting, and you're sitting there, steady and relaxed. And someone makes a joke about how you don't care. But you do care. You just don't panic. This kind of calm is powerful and rare. Most people are ruled by their emotions. But the Stoic way is different. It teaches you to pause, breathe, and choose your response. Not everything deserves your energy. Not every insult needs an answer. Not every situation needs your reaction. So, don't take it personally when someone tries to shame your calmness. Don't let their discomfort rob you of your peace. Keep your center. Stay grounded, because while they're wasting their energy on drama, you're protecting your inner peace. And that peace is worth more than their approval. Remember, calmness isn't creepy. It's controlled power. It's a quiet kind of strength. And in a noisy world, that silence speaks volumes. So when someone says it again, just smile. Let your peace do the talking. Number 5. You always know everything. Let's talk about the 5th compliment that's actually a hidden insult. Wow, you always know everything. Now, on the surface, that sounds like praise, right? It sounds like someone's acknowledging your intelligence or experience. But the truth is, this one comes with a sharp edge hidden behind a smile. Because most of the time, when people say this, they don't mean, "You're wise." They mean, "You're arrogant." They mean, "You talk too much." Or even worse, "You make me feel small." This compliment is often thrown out in frustration or even jealousy. Let's say you're in a group, and someone's asking a question you happen to know the answer to. You speak up, you share your knowledge. Maybe it's about business, life, history, or something you're passionate about. Instead of appreciation, someone rolls their eyes and says, yeah, we get it. You always know everything." That's not a compliment anymore. That's a dismissal. It's a way to shut you down, not lift you up. But here's the key. Don't take it personally. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, faced far worse. He was one of the wisest men of his time, and yet he never bragged. He wrote in his journal, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." What Marcus teaches us is this: don't chase approval. Don't even chase praise. Just live with truth and let your actions speak. If you know something, share it with humility. And if people respond with sarcasm or hidden insults, don't fight it. Let them have their opinion. You don't need to prove anything. Here's something else to think about. People will often feel uncomfortable around someone who is confident, calm, and well-informed. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because you remind them of what they haven't done yet. Your knowledge, your self-control, your growth. It shines a light on their insecurities. And instead of facing their own lack, they try to dim your light with backhanded compliments. So when someone says, "You always know everything," don't get defensive. Don't try to explain yourself. Just smile. Stay silent. Move on. Because a true Stoic doesn't need to prove their wisdom. They live it. And sometimes the most powerful answer is no answer at all. So remember, when you hear that phrase next time, see it for what it is. Not a compliment, not a reflection of you, but a window into them. Let your peace be louder than their sarcasm. Number 6. You look great for your age. You've probably heard this one before, maybe from a coworker, maybe at a family gathering. Someone flashes a smile and says, "Wow, you look amazing for your age." Now, at first glance, it sounds like a compliment, right? Feels nice to be noticed. But let's break this down with a little more awareness. That last part, "for your age," suddenly turns the compliment into a comparison. They're not just saying you look great. They're saying you look better than what they expected someone your age to look like. And that expectation, it's based on a negative stereotype. See, the words sound sweet, but underneath, there's a subtle suggestion that your age should somehow make you less attractive, less impressive, or less capable. And that's not really praise. That's a polite insult dressed in sugar. Now here's the Stoic way to look at it. Marcus Aurelius never obsessed over appearances. In fact, he believed that outer beauty fades, but inner character grows stronger with time. He said, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." In other words, every moment matters. Not your age, not the wrinkles, not the number of candles on your birthday cake. You see, in today's world, especially here in America, aging is often viewed as a decline. We're constantly sold anti-aging creams, plastic surgery, filters, and hair dye, as if getting older is a disease to cure instead of a journey to embrace. But Stoicism flips that idea on its head. It teaches us to value wisdom over youth and purpose over appearance. So when someone says, "You look great for your age," you don't have to take offense. But you also don't need to absorb the hidden message. Instead, remind yourself, you're not in competition with youth. You're in alignment with wisdom. You've earned every line on your face, every strand of gray hair, every lesson learned the hard way. That's not something to hide. That's something to wear like armor. Now, here's the important part. When we constantly crave compliments about how we look, we hand over our self-worth to other people. And that's dangerous, because one day they'll say, "You look great for your age." The next day, they might say nothing at all. And if our confidence depends on their words, we'll fall apart the moment the applause stops. That's why Marcus Aurelius trained himself not to be ruled by praise or criticism. He stayed balanced, stoic. So the next time someone gives you a compliment like that, smile. Thank them if you want. But inside, stay centered. Remember that your value isn't in how young you appear. It's in how deeply you've lived. In a world obsessed with staying young, choose to grow wiser. Because when you carry yourself with dignity, you don't need to look young. You already look powerful, and no age can ever take that away from you. Number 7. I wish I had your confidence. This one sounds like a compliment. When someone says, "I wish I had your confidence," it can feel good at first. It makes you think they admire your boldness and self-assurance. But if you look closer, This phrase can carry a hidden meaning. Sometimes, when people say this, they aren't just admiring you. They might be feeling insecure themselves. They might see your confidence as something they lack, and instead of being inspired, they feel threatened or jealous. In some cases, this compliment can be a subtle way to put you down. It's like saying, "You're confident, but maybe you're too confident for your own good." Think about it. Have you ever noticed how some people say this with a tone that doesn't feel warm? Maybe it sounds a little bitter or forced. That's because true confidence makes others uncomfortable if they don't have it themselves. Marcus Aurelius, the famous Stoic emperor, teaches us an important lesson about confidence. He says that true confidence comes from within. It doesn't depend on what others think or say about you. It is the calm knowledge of your own value and strength. It comes from living according to your principles and not chasing the approval of others. When you have this kind of confidence, it can seem like you're walking a different path. You are not trying to impress anyone. You are simply steady, calm, and sure of yourself. That can be intimidating to others who rely on external validation to feel good. So when someone tells you, "I wish I had your confidence," it's a moment to pause and reflect. Are they genuinely inspired by you? Or are they feeling something else, like envy or discomfort? You don't need to answer them or defend yourself. You just need to stay grounded. Remember that confidence is not arrogance. It is not about showing off or putting others down. It's about being comfortable in your own skin, knowing your strengths and weaknesses, and acting with honesty and kindness. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the quality of our thoughts shapes our life. If you believe in your own worth and stay true to yourself, no sneaky compliment can shake you. This kind of confidence protects your peace. It helps you move through the world without fear or doubt. It makes you like a rock in the storm, steady, unshaken, and calm. At the same time, having this confidence doesn't mean you never doubt yourself. Even the greatest Stoics struggled with uncertainty, but they never let doubt stop them from acting with courage and wisdom. So next time someone says, "I wish I had your confidence," listen carefully. If it feels like a real compliment, accept it graciously. But if it feels like a challenge or an insult in disguise, don't take it personally. You know your value. You know your strength. Let their words pass like the wind. You don't need to prove anything. Your confidence is yours. It is your shield and your power. And remember, real confidence grows from within, from knowing who you are and what you stand for, not from the opinions of others. That's the Stoic way. That's the way of Marcus Aurelius. As we come to the end of this journey, take a moment to reflect on what we've uncovered today. Not every compliment is what it seems. Sometimes, words that sound kind are actually hiding something else beneath the surface: doubt, judgment, or even disrespect. This is not about being paranoid or expecting negativity from everyone. It's about being wise and aware. Marcus Aurelius teaches us to see things clearly, to look beyond the surface and understand the true meaning behind words and actions. When someone says, "You're so different," it might sting at first. But remember, being different means you're not just following the crowd. You're choosing your own path. That's something to be proud of. When praise comes with conditions, like "you're smart for someone like you," recognize it as a reflection of their own biases, not your value. You don't need anyone else's permission to be intelligent or capable. Sometimes, people say things like, "You're too good for this job or life," as if they know what's best for you. But only you live your life. Only you know what truly matters. As the Stoics remind us, happiness comes from within, not from others' opinions. And when someone calls your calmness creepy, that's really about their discomfort with self-control, a quality Marcus Aurelius prized above all. Your calm is strength. Your peace is power. Never let anyone shame you for mastering your mind. We also saw how "you always know everything" can be a disguised criticism. Know that being knowledgeable isn't arrogance. It's responsibility. But share your wisdom wisely, just as the Stoics would advise. Hearing "you look great for your age" might feel like a compliment, but it sets a limit on your worth. Your value is never tied to age or appearance. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to accept the natural flow of life with dignity and grace. And finally, when someone says, "I wish I had your confidence," it may not always be praise, can come from envy or fear. Confidence is not about showing off. It's about knowing who you are and standing firm, no matter what. So what's the big lesson here? It's simple. Don't let your peace depend on other people's words. Not every compliment is true. Not every praise is pure. But your response, that is your choice. You can choose to let these hidden insults chip away at your confidence, or you can recognize them, smile quietly, and keep walking your path with the calm strength of a Stoic. Remember Marcus Aurelius's wisdom. If someone does wrong, it's because they are mistaken, not because you have failed. Don't take the hidden insults personally. Stay centered. Stay strong. Thank you for watching and opening your mind today. Keep practicing this clarity, and you'll find yourself freer, calmer, and more powerful than ever. If this video helped you see the truth behind words, please give it a thumbs up. It really supports the channel and helps more people learn these important lessons. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss out on new videos about Stoic wisdom and personal growth. I want to hear from you. What's one compliment you got that didn't feel genuine? Share your story in the comments below. Let's start a real conversation and support each other in growing stronger every day. Remember, your peace and confidence don't depend on what others say. Stay calm, stay wise, and keep mastering yourself. See you in the next video.